Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today, I'm doing this video specifically because I posted this photo to my Insta stories and I got way more responses than I was expecting. I mean, I didn't post it for any particular reason besides the fact that I liked the photo and I liked the way it looked that day. And I always second guess myself because I prefer personally when I'm like off camera, like not trying to do anything specific for a makeup look or an IG post or anything like that. Like when I want to just feel pretty before I'm going somewhere, I like very simple looks. I don't do liner. I rarely wear lashes. I don't typically do cut creases unless I'm trying to purposely do a look, but I don't do that on like a normal, like off camera basis. And so I'm always like, oh, people are not going to want to see this because it's so simple. And that's usually the ones that I get the most feedback on because I personally think it looks the most flattering on me with my features and my limited eye space and just overall the way I look, I guess. So, anyways, I guess lesson learned, just because I think it's simple doesn't mean that other people won't be interested. So, yeah, this is a look that I was wearing that day, and this is the hair as well. The look is very simple in terms of easy to achieve, but I still use my whole 50 million products. This is not a no makeup look. It's supposed to look like you're wearing makeup, but to me, it's on the simpler wearable side because there's no lashes, there's no bold lip, there's no liner, there's no glitter, cut crease, anything like that. That's just more on the extravagant side, in my opinion. But I find that when you're doing simpler looks, you still want it to last, you still want it to have vividness, and you still want it to look like you have coverage. So I still use a lot of the same products. I just apply them a little differently sometimes or just apply less of them. For example, I'm only wearing one eyeshadow. And so for this look specifically, I wanted to keep everything very peachy. I think that's like very pretty for summer and just warm weather. And so I have like peachy eyelids, peachy blush, and peachy lips. It's very monochromatic. And then some wavy hair. Because I actually did my hair for once, usually I just do my makeup and then kind of just tame my hair, not necessarily like do it. I think that adds to the look because it's just like, look at my face. It's like, like try and imagine my hair not there. Like the look is like, it doesn't look bad, but it's nothing like special. But I think that once you have the hair and if you have like, whatever your version of a cute outfit is, I just put on a regular white top and then some jewelry, paint your nails. I think it comes together and it looks pretty and effortless. So, yeah, if you want to see how I got this effortless look with a lot of effort, then just keep watching.
Wow, that intro was so long. Anyways, starting off with the Milk Makeup Hydrate Primer. This is a great primer and a no-brainer for me being in Florida. It's like super glue for your foundation. Using this Bite Beauty foundation, I've been using this nonstop. It's such a great lightweight foundation. It has a very medium coverage and it gives you a very natural skin-like finish, which I love. It's just perfect for the daytime, perfect for warm weather. I've just, like I said, been using it nonstop because it's just been that good, and I feel like this shade really matches me nicely as well. And then, as usual, just taking my NARS concealer. I specifically opted for this one instead of a liquid one just so that it would stay in place more and be more fuller coverage. And I just, don't want anything moving around, especially in the heat. And while I'm at it, can't forget my eyelids. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the concealer and put it on my eyelids as well to make sure they stay matte, and then also prime them for the shadow later. And now I'm using the Becca Hydra Mist powder to set my concealer. And now to set my foundation, just so that it stays in place and it stays matte throughout the day, I like using this e.l.f. finishing powder. It is pretty sheer in coverage and it just kind of locks everything into place. I find whenever I want my makeup to really last, adding thin layers of finishing powders really helps lock everything into place. So I set my foundation with a light powder, I do my bronzer, and then I go over and set that as well. So I'm not really setting the bronzer, but I'm just adding another layer on top of it to diffuse it and just kind of seal everything off in the end. I'm using the Morphe bronzer. As you can see, it's pretty deep in color. I opted for this because I know that I'm going to set it after with a light wash of powder, so it'll tone the color down a little bit. And then, like I mentioned before, I'm just finishing everything off with this LC powder. This is similar to the e.l.f. one. I just like both of them, so I like to incorporate both of them. And I just do a light dusting, focusing more where I do my bronzer. I don't put this under my under eyes or anything like that. And I just feel like it helps diffuse everything and give you like a soft focus look. So I'm taking that peach cobbler shade only and just buffing it onto my eyelids with a dense fluffy brush. That's the only like thing that I would say to make sure to use if you want a very diffused wash of color. Other than that, it's very simple. I just keep picking up a little bit more at a time and I'm just buffing it in small circular motions from my inner corner all the way to my outer corner. I'm not even bringing it down to my lash line, but you can if that's what you want. Just being really messy with it and just buffing it on until I get the desired intensity of it, but I'm continuously blending it out at the same time so it looks very diffused. Other than that, there's nothing special to this whatsoever. And then to finish it off, I'm just taking that brown from the same palette as well and just stamping it along the outer 3/4 of my lash line, which I normally always do anyways. I think this just adds a nice subtle amount of definition to your eye, especially using the brown and using a shadow and keeping it very close to your lash line. It adds definition, but in a very non-noticeable type of way. And now I'm taking the brown shadow from that palette just to define my eyebrows like I normally would with the ABH Brow Pomade. I just find that whenever I use a dark brown shadow instead of the pomade, it just gives a softer look while still giving my brows some definition. And then once I'm done, I just take the spoolie and run it through and make sure it's nice and blended. For mascara, I'm using this Volume Hero mascara from Essence. I recently have fallen in love with their mascaras. For $5, you really can't go wrong. And I know my eyelashes are long, but honestly, every mascara does not work for me, or it doesn't make my lashes look as great as I feel like they can. So I've just been impressed with the price of these, and what I like the most about them is that the formula is super buildable. It's not wet and slippery, but it's also not thick and clumpy. And to me, the key to getting voluminous lashes at whatever length your lashes are is to go back and forth in layers, in small layers. And as you're giving it a little bit of time to dry, as you're doing the other eye, you're building onto the product that was there before. And that's what's going to make them thicker and more voluminous looking. So I really like this. I like the comb wand of it because it's separating at the same time. And I like to put on a lot of mascara as well. So for $5, I feel like I can afford to put on 500 coats. I still love my Milk Makeup one, but this is a very good cheaper alternative. And then another no-brainer, the Huda setting spray. This is an absolute must if you want your makeup to last. It is super glue in a spray format. I choke myself out every time I spray this because it smells so awful, but it is so worth it. And now to finish up the eyes, another subtle thing that I feel like makes such a big difference is adding a white liner. This one's really nice because it's very flesh toned. It's not like a stark white. It just makes you look so much more awake and refreshed, but it doesn't look obvious. It just kind of amplifies your normal skin tone color in that area. And like I said, I'm doing kind of things that I would normally do on a very full glam look, but I'm making it very daytime appropriate and very subtle. And then for blush, this is the closest peachy blush that I had. It's from L'Oreal. I really like it. And I like adding that on at the end. So you know how I added those powders before? I always put my blush at the very top. I don't want that to be covered by powder because I want it to be seen and also last. And now this thing is like my secret weapon. I've mentioned it in videos before. This is the Well Rested powder by Benefit. It is a powder concealer and it is very full in coverage. So you have to use the tiniest amount. I like pour it into the lid, rub my brush in it and tap off all the excess. And I just add the tiniest amount to the tops of my cheeks. I do not go up to my under eye. As you can see, just along the side of my nose, tops of my cheeks, kind of like that triangle, but I don't put it up to where the creases are under my eyes because this will look heavy very quickly. You have to be very careful with it, but it will give you such a nice, bright, awake look. I swear whenever I wear this, people ask me what I have under my under eyes, and I always like using a more skin tone concealer and then using powder to give me that brightening effect. For highlight, this has quickly become my favorite highlight, and I feel like I have an unpopular opinion with highlights. I don't like those starky blinding, crazy highlights. I like very subdued highlights where you can tell, but it doesn't add a lot of attention to texture, or it doesn't look chalky on your face. And you know, I love the LC one. I think that's just a beautiful product for exactly what I want. But this one, this Bare Minerals one, I feel like it gives you that pop. You can see it. It's a very blingy highlight, but in such a subtle way, and it looks so, so beautiful. So for lips, I always like to go in first with a lip liner that matches my lipstick and just line my lips normally. Sometimes I'll even fill them in slightly just to add some more coverage and give it like a base underneath in case my lipstick does come off. It'll just add more staying power. And then I like to basically contour, overdraw, exaggerate, whatever you want to call it, my Cupid's bow area and just under my lower lip line with a slightly darker color, and then I blend that into the existing lip line from before. Instead of just overlining my entire lips, I feel like that's noticeable and obvious and sometimes doesn't look the most flattering. And then I just take this little brush if I need to and blend the two together so it doesn't look like a harsh lip line. It just kind of looks like your regular lips have been lined normally. Okay, so now that makeup's done, let's move on to hair. I had my hair tied up like this on purpose so that it would be as messy and wavy and potentially curly as possible. My hair is very straight. I actually don't even brush it when I get out of the shower when I know I'm going to curl it, just to give it the most curl potential. Like I said, like this is the most my hair will do. I don't ever get curls, and if I just let it air dry like this, it'll eventually go flat. So this is the look I'm trying to achieve, but I have to use styling tools in order to get that look. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, I won't bore you with an overdone hair curling video, but I will just point out the things that I feel like make a total difference in this look. First off, this wave spray by Way. This is a game changer. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just taking small sections of hair, wrapping it around the barrel away from my face. Looks like that. I like small pieces so that there's space in between the curls, and I leave the end out so that it's more of a wave than a curl, and they will relax over time. But spraying that wave spray prior makes them last so much longer. Each curl comes out so much more defined instead of when you just do it with dry hair. I feel like it can look a little frizzier and just not as put together, not as defined, I guess. It's not crunchy. It doesn't fry your hair. It's not like hairspray. I don't even have to hairspray my hair after I use this, and it does eventually dry down. Like your hair is very touchable. It's not crunchy or anything like that. And it's just honestly so perfect. So I like to spray it in my hair before and then take each little piece and wrap it around the iron, and it just makes so much of a difference. And what I love about this spray is it really makes your curls last. I feel like curling your hair can be so tedious. So if I can get 3-4 days of wear out of it, then I think it's worth the effort. If anything, if I feel like it gets a little flat, I can just mix in a few more extra curls, but that takes like 5 minutes. And I find that it is pretty humidity and heat proof. I live in like the Amazon rainforest, and I feel like that's a pretty good test scenario for this product. I feel like the curls last, they don't go flat. If I were to just curl my hair regularly, it would truly just be a waste of time. So this spray just makes them really last, and it's just a must-have if you're going to curl your hair.
All right, you guys, that completes this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye.